Welcome, everyone. Welcome to today's IAPC&M Masterclass, which is the first part of a four-part series, Embodying the Fullest Expression of Ourselves with Remi Pearson. My name is Elena Nedeva, and I'm delighted to be your host. Before I introduce you to our incredible speaker, Remi, I would like to gently remind you to grab your CPD pad, pen and paper, make notes of the invaluable information that our guest speaker will share with us today and reflect on the learnings. In addition, please listen to the following housekeeping guidance. This call will be a maximum of 60 minutes. We typically dedicate the last 15 minutes for Q&A session. And since Remi has shared that she would love as much interaction as possible with you all, please feel free to raise your hand when you have a question, and Remi would love to respond. You can also type your questions in the chat box. I'll be watching out for those, and I will let Remi know as they come. In addition, some questions can be answered in the last 15 minutes of our masterclass today. Also, please take a note. Our session today is recorded, so I kindly ask you to mute yourselves, as this will help us keep the quality of the recording and streaming live. It will be lovely if you keep your cameras on. This would make our interaction even more fulfilling today. So, without further ado, I'm beyond excited to present our guest speaker today, Remi Pearson. Remi is a certified professional coach with International Coach Guild, NLP trainer, metadynamics professional coach, and a master of applied positive psychology. I would like to share with you a fun fact about Remi. So she has shared that she absolutely loves the inner sparkle that everyone has, to see people shine brightly because they fully accept of who they are. And who they are is love. Remi is also an author of the book, Ultimate You, Heal, Reclaim, Become, Live Your Awesome Life. And guess what? As a token of appreciation for gathering here today, Remi is gifting each one of the participants with the first 2 modules of her exclusive Choose You online program. There is even more. The most valuable contributor will receive a signed copy of her book, Ultimate You, Heal, Reclaim, Become, Live Your Awesome Life. So, on to our topic for today, embodying the fullest expression of ourselves. And over to you, Remi, please.
Thank you. You're awesome. I really appreciate your support. Thanks so much. And thanks, Dawn. Thanks for having me, everybody. I'm Remi. I am definitely a full participation sports kind of facilitator. So there is no such thing as an interruption when I'm doing my thing. If you're wanting to make it as interactive as possible and as relevant to you as possible, I thrive in that environment. I'm a facilitator rather than a trainer, which means I facilitate based on what's present in the room rather than what's present in my head. Does everyone appreciate the difference? Oh, yeah, that'll be the interaction part. Thanks, Neil. I love that. That's awesome. Like in our classes, we have people doing this and like. So I'll have some slides, which I'll get to. Do I admit those people, or you're all good with that, Elena? You're all good with admitting people from the waiting room?
Yes, I will look after that. Thank you.
I'll relax. Hey, Rashid, I've been doing this for a while now. I've been doing this since 2003. So when I began in coaching, I was asked, are you a cricket coach? That was the assumption. In Australia, are you a footy coach? That was the thing as well. It was very much the marketing back in the old days was explaining and educating people before you could invite them to consider it being something for them. And I've just seen the progress in this industry, in this profession, that I love. I value so much what coaching can give us. And with that said, I don't know, and I'd love anyone's opinion on this. I don't know that we've landed yet on a definition of what coaching is and what it can't be. I think that's still very much a meandering exploration of possibilities and potential. One of the things that happened when I got my Master's of Applied Positive Psych was the talk that all coaching should be pos psych. And that basically the vehicle for coaching should be pos psych. And as somebody now with a master's in it who got a very, very high grade, I don't agree. Pos psych is all about the positive emotions. It's about upward spirals of positivity, which sounds very appealing on the surface, but ultimately can be very damaging to somebody who has never learned or had the space or the capacity to explore the darker shadow of self. And when we leave out aspects of ourselves, we literally bypass self-love. So my thing, I got the master's so I could speak with authority and say, absolutely not. Pos psych is not the answer to coaching, and is not a complete set of tools at all. And I think we're still very much under development. Dawn, would you agree with that? We're still a work in progress in terms of what it can be and where it's heading as neuroscience is giving us more answers.
Absolutely, and never more so since COVID, when clients are presenting ever more complex and sophisticated requirements. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. So when I started a coaching school, one of the largest coaching schools in the world, we're in 103 countries. I'm not naming it. I'm not here to brag about the school, but to let you know, I really know coaching. I've trained or helped train in excess of 11 or 12,000 coaches around the world. 60% of all the coaches in Australia trained with us. I developed the first ever diploma of life coaching in the world that's government accredited. I've written books on it, and I have a research-based methodology that is backed by research on how to coach effectively, which isn't a model I'll be doing in this class, but this coaching is my vibe. It's my ocean that I swim in. I love it. I see so much potential within it, and I'm here to serve you at any level that I can to bring the passion I feel and the passion that's alive in you to life in ways that are expressed, that are so functional and whole that your clients can't help but shine. I get tears in my eyes, can't help but shine in their fullest potential, the fullest embodiment of themselves because of you, because you turned up knowing how to help them know their shine, that their inner being is worthy, that self-love is natural, not weird, not hard to get, that no one needs fixing, that goals will not make you happy. If you're here for me, if I've got you for the 4 weeks, which I hope I do, I want to take you on this journey of how love is integral to where I believe a whole coach needs to be. That we're in this space of being, hey, from Norfolk, how you going? I'm glad you're introducing yourself. That to be a whole coach, we don't just see the person and what they want, we see the person and what they won't admit they want and what they actually need. And this is a level of depth that I trust you seek in your coaching. And that's why maybe you turned up to this class. Who's got any thoughts on what I've just said as way of introduction? How does that land for you? How does that float for you? Let me just get a sense of it so I know how I'm doing with this, and then I'll dive into it.
Thank you for that warm introduction. That was great to hear about who you are and where you sit and how you breathe what you do. It was nice to hear. I think it's quite a natural evolution for someone to either pick this up very quickly in their coaching career or eventually end up in this space anyway, because all roads lead somewhere like this, where you want to have a better understanding, a better appreciation, a wider and deeper view of what the art of what's possible. And so it's great to work with people that already have those, have that on board. So thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you, Neil. I appreciate you noticing my warmth, and back at you. That's really beautiful. Thank you. You're a good man. It's very kind soul. Anybody else want to share how this is floating or landing before I move into speaking to the topic? Hey, Floss.
Hi, thanks. It's just like kind of music to my ears to hear that positive psychology isn't all where it's at. Because when you work on your own as a coach, you kind of only see what you see, right? You see what you read and you see what people are telling you to learn, and you're like, oh God, is that what I should be doing? Is that where I
Yep.
should be going? So I really appreciated hearing that. So thank you.
Good, good, good. And I'm glad you said that. Like, I literally did a master's in it and got the top mark so I could stand here today and tell you, no, it is not the whole answer. It's a piece of the puzzle, but it is not a complete answer. And coaching going under the umbrella of PosPsych, I believe, is PosPsych trying to boost its own brand. And I don't think it's where coaching is supposed to land. We haven't landed yet. And let's be okay with that uncertainty and the journey it affords us, because ultimately coaching is a journey into uncertainty. So let's do that journey. Wonderful, thank you. So what I'll do is I have slides. I'll be shocked if I use them, but I did put some together for you. And tonight, hey Peter, it's great that you've introduced yourself. I'm very grateful. Actually, I will have a go at the slides and then I'll leave them we'll see how I go. So in this class, oh wow, can I see you guys as I'm doing this? Dawn, I make myself laugh. I think
So
I'm
it's the view
adorable.
button
Here we
and
go.
gallery.
Yeah, I believe I'm adorable, and that's the important thing. I think that's the one. I apologize, guys. It is literally very true to form that I'm not sure where I'm going. Hang on one tick. How do I get rid of it, Dawn? I'm scared I'll lose you guys.
Go to slideshow in your computer, and then you can hit your slides.
What am I doing? I apologize, guys. I rehearsed this just before.
Okay.
I'm going to stop the share and try again. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm sure everybody's very forgiving and understanding. Just not
Absolutely.
a lot. Yeah. Here we go. Okay, come on, Remi. You got this. I found it. Oh my God. I'm so thrilled with myself. Are you seeing slides, everybody? Can I get excited on behalf of you as well?
It's visible.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have something.
I'm over the moon.
Just
We
go
have
to
something.
slideshow. Yeah, because
Yeah.
at the moment we can see all your
How's that?
slides. We just want
How's
that's it. Well done. That's it.
Thank you. I
Perfect.
appreciate it. Okay, so what my question when I'm coaching and when I facilitate and I work with audiences mainly is, how do we help this world be just a little bit more loving? So how can I embody just a little bit more love in this moment, in this conversation? And the assumption I'm making the whole time is even the most fractious human being. So if I have someone in the audience who's upset with a message, or I have a client who's agitated, it's coming from a place of love or desiring love. So I hope, let me know with a thumbs up if that thematically or philosophically lands really well for you. That when you're coaching, would it help you if you aren't doing that? If you would come from a place of it's all love or a desire for love, or it's a fear that love is missing. So it's all a cry for love or it's love. And if you see everybody through that lens, we get to stay in a soft space. How's that landing for you? Can I get a thumbs up or some acknowledgement? Yeah. And if you don't agree, I'm happy to chat with you about it, but let's see if we can take this for a spin. So that's my theme. And then based on that, if we're only here to achieve, so coaching when it originated was all about goal setting and achieving goals and overcoming fears. And there isn't a book on the original, in the original coaching space that I didn't read. I even wrote a couple of them, and there isn't a research paper I haven't read about where it began. And it was all goal setting. But we're not, the saying, we're human beings, not human doings. If we only measure our worth by the goals we're setting, we become a shallow shadow version of ourselves. We are not the sum of our achievements. And anything external to us that we're using as a measure of us will lead to continued emptiness within. Is this sounding familiar philosophically? Like this is, I'm drawing here on Buddhism, I'm drawing on internal family systems, I'm trained in attachment theory. There's all these different modalities I'm trained in, and they all point in the same direction. That if we link our self-worth to outside success, we're always going to feel a void within. Just give me a little indication. How's that landing? Is that thumbs up? Yeah. Or is there anyone a bit like this and needs a little bit more? And that doesn't mean to say goals are a bad thing. It just means they can't be the purpose of our lives. And here's the thing I've noticed with all the coaching I've done, and I don't count my hours anymore, and all the work I've done with people around the world, is the more, and I've done this, the more we pursue the goals out there, the more ambitious we are. I'm going to be a little controversial here and say there's every possibility that we're ignorant to and neglecting the inner world. Now, that isn't always true, but it's been my experience that many people are pursuing great goals. They look amazing. Like the number of clients I've worked with, I want to do $100 million. It's like this huge thing. I want to do $100 million. I want to get to $100 million. And the moment I start coaching them, with no exceptions, we land on they haven't felt worthy, and this somehow would compensate. Who's had that experience? Can you indicate with a thumbs up, or you've got maybe some personal experience with it? Does this resonate? Okay, great. So the idea for me, when I coach, and I'd love your thoughts on this, is all goals are an attempt to attain healing, or what I call wholeness. Now, I want you to consider what that means, especially if you've been taught the GROW model and some other basic, pretty old tools. I mean, the GROW model is Sir John Whitmore from way back when in the 80s. If you've been taught that way, I just want you to consider, well, why is the goal so important? And have you answered that question for yourselves? What is so important about the goal? And then there are other great questions you can ask your clients. What would the goal give you? That's the obvious question. What about this one? What is it you think is not going to happen if you don't achieve it? Just start asking questions about the purpose of the goal. What is the goal replacing? So I'll give you an example. I coach a lot of men. Most of my clients are males. Entrepreneurs, and inevitably the goal of the coaching is to the goals they set, which are all entrepreneurial and huge numbers and going public and venture capital, inevitably it's a feeling of not enoughness, an internalized sense of lack, and the bigger the lack, the bigger the drive. It's like they think they can outrun it, which makes coaching for me bliss, if you can imagine, because if I'm fortunate enough and I have the privilege, I get to guide this human being to themselves. And maybe once I've helped them do that and they're back in touch with themselves, and this void now has been dissipated and filled with their own selves, the goal will still be there, but it'll be from a very different energy. Now, how am I going with this? Is that landing? Is that too advanced? Am I speaking with you at the right level? Chat with me about how that message is landing. that the goal is often a compensation for a feeling of lack of wholeness. Can I get a couple of, I want to pause at 9:20 and just touch base with a couple of thoughts from you guys. If someone wants to come off mute or someone wants to type something in the chat, how's this landing?
Yeah, I've got a question or something to say regarding that. The thing is, we've always worked on the idea of goal setting. The basic thing about coaching is that every session you enter, there has to be a goal that is set for that session. So my idea is, how is it that we are going to change the fact that it's not always about the goal, because it's more about them achieving something that's heartfelt, as your title says. And at the same time, to what extent is it that we're leading them to a specific target or a specific way of life, if we are leading them in that way? This is my question.
Love it. Perfect. Perfect. So thank you so much, Cynthia, for your question. And hopefully the series of classes will begin to answer it in more depth. And I'm so glad I've got more than 45 minutes. So here's the thing. When I said, if you've been trained in goal setting as the purpose of coaching, this may seem a bit different for you. And it sounds like you have. It's not how I teach coaching. To me, coaching isn't just about what's the goal for today, what's the outcome you want, how will you know? I know all the basics. I helped write one of the original coaching goal models. So if that's where you're coming from, I can understand why this is like, well, I'm going to lead the client somewhere else. Try this instead. Rather than that you're leading the client, which I totally appreciate why you're sensing that energy. Picture the goal like this, Cynthia. So if you can see me, there's the goal, and they want to go for that goal. And just imagine in your mind energetically, the bigger that goal is up there, what is it they're leaving out? So what is it they don't feel they have the capacity to attend to that leads them to want to set such a big goal that takes them away from themselves? Cynthia, how's that question landing? Is it making sense? These are big concepts. This is not basic coaching. So the $100 million client example, endless, inevitably, with no exceptions, they are trying to outrun their lack of enoughness or their sense of lack or their need to prove something. Can you sense that in some of your clients that they're,
yeah.
Yes, you can sense it?
Yes. Yeah.
Great. So I'm not leading them somewhere else. As we're going for the goal, I'm helping them attend to what we've just identified, the lackness. So they're going on concurrently as we work towards the superficial goal or the seemingly obvious outcome, the stated goal. Remember, one of the philosophies of coaching is this: we are here to see for the client more than they can see for themselves. Yes, Cynthia, can I get a thumbs up? You're familiar with that? Yeah. And this class is about what that else is I'm inviting you to see for your client. So it's not just the $100 million. Great, you made $100 million. What's the next mountain? $1 billion? But as they're pursuing this, the surface goal, there is a deeper hunger or a yearning for something that is unmet. And as I'm coaching them, the unmetness is where I show up. And in the 4 classes, I will demonstrate, hopefully, how we do that. How's that landing in terms of answering your question for now, recognizing that I need a little bit longer?
Yeah. I understood. Thanks.
Yeah, it's landing well. Great. And if it's not, please, keep challenging me, because I appreciate we're all coming from different philosophies of coaching. And Peter Dunning, you've got your hand up. Did you want to share something?
Yeah, hi Remi. It's I'm loving it so far, and you talking about that, the goal setting versus sort of doing some sort of inner healing. It's so important. Myself as a coach and my business and wanting to develop that, I'm working with a coach, actually. He's based in Australia as well. And what I love about working with him is, although, he's quite well aware I've got some business goals, that I want to work on, but he also knows that I've got some inner healing to do as well. And I'm currently going through a divorce, and I'm not
Oh,
seeing
wow. That's a lot.
so yeah,
That's
so
a
there's a
lot.
lot of other stuff going on.
Mm.
And so there's a big part of it is focusing on certain fears and moving them, and
Yes.
helping
Okay.
those shift. And so it absolutely lands completely with, with how I would like my business to work, with
And how you
clients,
want to be as a coach.
what I'm actually doing with my coach,
Yeah.
to get me
Okay.
going and
All
fix as
right.
well.
I love that.
Yeah, bang
And
on.
Peter, are you up to me perhaps reflecting back something that I may have heard that may be of service to you? Do you feel you have the space for that?
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My coaching wouldn't move the fear aside, which was your language. My coaching, my philosophy and my style would help you embrace the fear, go into the fear, accept the fear, love the fear, embrace the fear, take it out, bring it in and serve it a cup of tea and build a relationship with it. So we don't, in my philosophy of coaching, we don't reject any aspect of self. All is welcome in this space. And it might have just been your language choice, which I honor and appreciate, but just that kind of energetic difference. So get rid of the fear. Babe, your fear is one of my favorite things about you. Peter, I adore your fear. I want to know about it. I want to get to know it. I got tears in my eyes genuinely right now, how much I want you to know I embrace your fear. That's my energy as a coach.
Brilliant. No, I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
How's it landing for you? How does that feel?
It's fantastic. No, it totally, it's ticking some nice big boxes. It's good.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for the descriptor. And can I ask you how it feels? How does it feel for me to want to see and get to know your beautiful fear?
How's it feel? It feels, well, it feels like someone cares enough, they're listening that deeply that they're feeling it and they care enough and they feel it. And so that's how it feels. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And hopefully in the classes that are coming, I'll be able to dive deeper as you all build your confidence with me. Peter, I'd love to have taken that to another level. So in another conversation, if you're feeling open to it, there was another level we could have gone to demonstrate this philosophy of coaching. If you feel you have the capacity, we can keep the door open for that down the track.
Very happy. Yeah, very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm very, very grateful to you. Thank you so much. And I see you. And just so you know, I really do dig your fear. It's one of my favorite things about all my clients, and I look forward to getting to know it. I really do. Bring it. And so I'm just wondering for everybody here, energetically, how does it feel as you witness that conversation? How's that landing for you? What's coming up for you? Because this is the heart of my coaching, my wholehearted coaching. What you just saw is like just starting to dip into where I welcome. And what's going on for you as you saw that or you experienced it? What comes up for you? If I can get a couple of comments, and then I'll move on at past to the next part. Hey, Dawn, please come on down.
I would say, as somebody like yourself who's been in the coaching industry for a couple of decades and we've seen the evolution, that this is filled with courageousness for newer coaches and us older ones that didn't cover this in our initial training. But I think for a lot of coaches, it addresses their fear of addressing fear.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. How do you get rid of fear? That was the number one question we got when I did my training 20 years ago. How do you help a client get rid of fear? And no one said you don't. They all said we've got to learn how to help a client get rid of fear or overcome their fear. That's not healthy. That's denying an aspect of self. And when we deny an aspect of ourselves, we deny ourselves the honor of self-love. Self-love is an embodiment of loving all aspects of ourselves, not just the bits we approve of. And whatever we disapprove of, don't welcome, don't create the space for, that's where we're going to be missing ourselves. That's where we miss the wholeness. So thank you, Dawn. That's a great reflection. I appreciate that. Is there anyone else who would like to reflect something back? Hey, Neil, I can see your hand up, my darling. Come on down.
Hi,
It's good
thank
to
you.
have you.
It took me a while to find the emotions to put the hand up to know what to do, like as navigating the tech, as you say.
Well, I appreciate that you stumbled as well, because I think I have demonstrated A-class stumbling when it comes to IT.
You're not alone there. Yes, they're not alone there. It's really interesting, even from the outset of your slide share, the use of language has changed and the use of approach has changed. And then your interaction with Peter as well. You were able, as I've found with my work in Buddhism, it tends to unpick things and present it in a very different way. And then suddenly things become okay. It's just a new, it's all right to be there. And with the right guide, with the right support, it's a whole different experience.
Yes. I'm in my next class from memory. And again, who knows, because logistics and I, not a great relationship, but I think my next class, I'm literally going into that in depth, like how to hold the space so everything is welcome. And that's getting into the how, because it's so important.
Your last example to say it's not about getting rid of it, it's about just embracing where it is and just say it's okay to be, to have that. It's there for a reason. What do we do with it?
Yes.
How can it serve us?
And in the class that's coming, I'll literally walk you through a coaching demonstration of how to be with the client's discomfort, whatever form it takes. And it can take the form of sadness, loneliness, grief, shame, fear, hurt, disappointment, despondence, anger, resentment. Any of those shadows, I will demonstrate how to help be with the client in those moments. And it's not therapy. I'm trained in therapy. I know the difference. But by being with the whole human being, instead of just the goal-setting part of this person, the person is going to come more holistically to what they want for themselves in their lives. Versus this cardboard cutout, I think a male entrepreneur should go for 100 million. It can become way more holistic and more fulfilling ultimately. And also, and this is one of my passions and superpowers, is helping my clients embody emotional self-regulation. Most people on the planet are not self-regulated. And so this, what I'm sharing, this principle of coaching, this philosophy of coaching, I'll guide you in the classes on how to help your client emotionally self-regulate. Is everyone familiar with the term self-regulation if I use that term, or I'll unpack it down the track, or tell me where you're at? Are we familiar? Thumbs up. Okay, great. So is it okay if I keep going a little bit? I just might click forward. Great. So if we think about why goals are set, instead of just assuming coaching is about goal setting, which I don't believe it is. I think it's a subset of coaching, but I think there are many facets to coaching. It is a diamond with many angles, not just one. We set goals for many reasons. And a lot of the times is to get rid of a fear of not enoughness. So most people's fears are, I'm not enough, I don't belong, I don't deserve it, I don't matter. And given that that's most people's fears, but it might present itself as I'm fearful I'll fail in my business, or I'm fearful I won't get to the 100 million, or I'm fearful I won't get my first coaching clients. It's all coming from the same source. It's the fear of lack. I'm somehow lacking, and the goal, if I achieve it, will fix it. That's what's going on. There's this perception of something missing. So my view, Cynthia beautifully shared before, coaching is about goal setting. I am now a coach who's in demand because I don't do goal setting with my clients. It is a subset. It can be there, but it's not why people show up to work with me. And I want you to consider the potential of that. That we're not just sitting there saying, there's nothing about this I don't know. Like, where do you want to be? When do you want to be there by? What will they give you? What's the positive benefits of it? I know all the basics of it, but it's ignoring that there is something gnawing and craving within every human being on the planet. And that is to be seen and known and accepted, to know our intrinsic worth. We give the client that, and they have something far more priceless than any goal they may attain. That's what I'm about. And that's why people want to work with me. Is this holistic view. I'm seeing the human, I'm seeing the whole being, the spirit of them, the emotionality of them, the hurt in them, which everybody carries, the desires, the hopes, the fears, all of it. They're not just showing up to hit a goal. The goal is simply a vehicle to help them get rid of a fear or outrun a fear, or hopefully realize there's nothing missing in them. And I don't know about you, but I've set and hit some pretty big goals in my time. I can remember the first time I did $1 million pitch. I brought in $1 million in revenue in 90 minutes. It didn't fulfill me. It didn't. I can remember the first time I became a cash millionaire. No fulfillment. All the milestones that people measure as great goals to hit, I've done. It's not fulfilling. It's great if it comes from a healthy place, but I would say the journey towards the goal has potential for fulfillment, but the hitting of the goal is a fleeting moment of success. It's done. You hit the goal. Well done. Let's have a party. And then it's done. The next day, next mountain. So the invitation here is to consider, what mountains are you helping your clients choose to climb? Why climb that mountain? Will anything be different intrinsically within them if they do this journey with you? Will they somehow feel they're less than or more than if they climb? These are more important questions than how to help my client get their goal. How's this landing for you? Is this the thumbs up? Is this a awesome double thumbs up? How's this sitting with you philosophically? I'd love to know. I can't see everybody. Yes, Dawn, if you can let me know what people are doing, that would be wonderful.
Aru, you would like to speak some? You'd like to unmute? Thank you.
Hi, Remi.
Hi, darling. How are you?
Can you hear
So
me?
good to have you.
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for holding this space. Very challenging. All
I
the
got you,
information that
babe.
you're actually sharing. Just wondering, how would you actually start a session then? Because I am still stuck in the whole goal setting. How would you initiate a session?
So we've got 4 classes in this series. Would it be okay with you
Okay.
if I had the spaciousness and the grace with you to do this journey? And so this is
Yeah,
about the
sure.
beingness of it. And in the next classes, I'll get into bringing it to life and demonstrating it.
No problem at all. Thank you.
Yeah. But is that okay? Like, I don't want it to not be a problem. Is that awesome?
That's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you for the grace. Neil, come on down.
Thank you. I'm left reflecting upon the position the coachee arrives at. So someone has to be, you have to travel with them to get them to a place where this lands and makes sense.
Yeah, I don't speak to this directly. I don't literally
Yeah.
say what I've said to you to a client. Yeah.
Yes. So there'll be some work, some relationship building, the rapport, to make sure we can get them to a place where this actually can land for them. Because most people might be caught up in the conditioning of goal setting, as mentioned earlier, or the things they think they're going to gain from it, as opposed to what we can offer and what's possible. Can you speak
It's
to that
very
a little?
true. most people are conditioned to hit the goal and get the 100 mil, darling. That's the Western world. And we are here to leave the world with a little bit more love. That's my philosophy. And nobody gets more success. We've got enough successful people. We need more loving people. So absolutely, I'm going to help them get their 100 mil. But in the journey, if we can experience self-love, I'd consider it a pretty good partnership. If all they did was get the 100 mil, any coach could have done it. It's a transferable skill. I can send you the manual. It's just not a big thing. No, it's true. Like hitting an external goal, an extrinsic goal is not really that exciting to me.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm in demand is because of the other stuff I'm speaking to. And there is a bigger movement, and Dawn and I were talking about this, speaking to this just before the class. There is a bigger movement now towards spirituality and being a whole human being than ever before in history. And I love that. I really love that for us, and it's important. Attachment theory is becoming more and more prevalent in people's conversations, which I think is really important as well. There is new science, there's new neuroscience coming out all the time, sharing this, basically the message I'm sharing, but in different ways. So it's time. Maybe I'm a little ahead of time, but I don't think so. I think I'm on the crest of the wave. The people are seeking more than just the next ambitious goal. They truly, and some people aren't, and they're not for me. They're not my client. Yeah, thank you. Lynn, come on down.
Thank you, Remi. I'm sitting in deep, deep appreciation of what you are sharing today. And this is because this is partly what brought me to coaching 2 years ago. And I lost it somewhere along the way.
No.
Just listening to you, even just getting into this space was a bit difficult in the start because it felt, coaching can take this rigid goal setting perspective. And I was not necessarily brought into it with that mindset. I did come in with this particular, deep heart. I don't want to call it a heart connection. I would say it's just basically coming from the heart. And so I appreciate it because it's really reigniting that for me and reminding me what and why coaching. And
Wonderful. Wonderful.
yeah, I'm hoping I can just sit in this for the next however long. Thank you.
And you're welcome, Lynn. I'm so grateful for you sharing that. It's a beautiful reflection back between us. And also I would like to share, if I may, do you have the space to hear something that I heard in what you shared?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I also honor and create space with genuine emotion, the resistance you felt and the resistance you've been feeling. There is lots of spaciousness and grace for that with me as well. So it's all welcome. You don't have to be enthusiastic. All of it can come to this space and there's room for it and it's welcome and it's okay.
And I love that, just because it's a reminder to give permission to all aspects of me. That was also really appreciated.
Yeah.
And I do believe the resistance had a message, and I know exactly what the message was.
Wonderful.
Thank
Wonderful. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. You're very, very kind participants. I'm very grateful to hear this appreciation reflected. It's lovely to see in you. The thing that I would share is the question a couple of times in different ways has been, well, how do you do it? Who's noticing I'm now demonstrating how you do it? With each of you, I am demonstrating how it's done. Constantly, it's a beingness. I'm not trying to do something, but I'm holding space for whatever is there. Maro, are you starting to tune into, I am demonstrating the answer to your question with each of you. Yeah? Sorry, are you nodding? Is that a thumbs up? Yeah, you're in the shadows. Wonderful. Okay, I'm way behind on the slides, but we knew that would happen. It doesn't matter. We're having a great time and we're learning. Let's see if I can get a couple more slides done. And I'm meant to be stopping now for questions. That's not happening just yet. I've got a few more slides, but lots of time to just interrupt. If you've got something to say, I welcome it. So notice that when you help a client hit the goal, quite often, whatever was felt missing is still missing. So if I was to be really hardline, which I don't tend to be, but I can be, I would say this: please don't be satisfied as a coach if you help your client hit the goal. I don't believe it's enough. I think there's so much more we can bring to the table, and there's so much more wholeness and love and heart that we can bring. The wholeness people seek is not ever attained through goal setting. Goal setting is basically the vehicle that gives them something to do whilst they discover themselves, the truth of their own love. That is the whole point. And it's been recorded. That's the line you would take. So we only experience our wholeness, and that's when we know love. Hitting a goal, we don't experience self-love. There is no research showing that that's different to what I just said. And one of the ways we can help the clients know wholeness, and this is absolutely integral to the coaching that I do, and hopefully you've seen it demonstrated with me so far, is to be seen, accepted, and acceptable in our fear, in our resentment, in our insert shadow self here. And I've been demonstrating it with you, and I'll demonstrate it fully in the classes that are coming. This is the pathway to your client transforming lack to fullness. That sentence right there in gold. And I'll do some heavy lifting that I'm saving for classes that are coming, but to give you a little preview, wanting to fit everything in is my way. Most people can't do this for themselves in the beginning. Now, ultimately, we want the client to do this for themselves. We don't want a dependent client, and I honor the client's capacity to do this, but it's so much faster and so much easier and so much more graceful if it's done with someone who is a safe space. Then we can do it by ourselves way easier. And this has been demonstrated again and again through our coaching programs and my clients. I do what's in gold there until the client can do what's in gold there for themselves. Can I get a thumbs up on that? Because I just want to keep moving a little bit. Great. I want to talk on every slide for like an hour, but so then it becomes helping realize, and now we're almost getting into the next class, which I'm excited about. Our capacity to hold space for whatever is present within us will help embody what is necessary for the client. Let me say that differently. Whatever we can't hold space for within ourselves, we cannot hold space for in another. So if you cannot hold space for your own sadness and grief, you will not have the capacity to tune into it and hold space for it in another. Whatever you deny in yourself, you will deny in others. And the reason this philosophy, I believe, is so important is it's teaching us how to embody and embrace every experience within ourselves without resistance. Means our capacity to hold space for our clients becomes infinite. And to me, that's true transformation. What about you? I mean, what is transforming if it isn't the ultimate connection at the deepest level, holding space for every thing that the client has come up? If that's not the ultimate in connection, please tell me what is. That's it. That's the whole am I on the right track? Tell me. Yes. That's the game. It's literally, you want the deepest connection, learn to have the deepest connection with yourself. And I'll unpack that more as the classes go on. But the more we do that for ourselves, the more we'll be able to do it for our clients. And we become the safest space on earth until the client learns that they are the safest space on earth for themselves. And this is how we leave the world a little bit more loving. I love it. I'd swear right now, but we're recording it and it's not my brand. I get excited. It's like, insert a passionate word here. So I pretty well talked about this already. Let's get to the point. If you've ever set a goal and it still feels empty, that's where the coaching begins. That's the whole point of this philosophy of coaching. Who here has set a goal and at the end gone, is that all there is? Yes, we all have. Well, that all there is where the coaching begins with this philosophy. That's where we start the coaching. That's what's so magical about it. And then I want you to consider this as we move into the next classes, because this is really setting up the ecology for the work we're going to actually do, which is how to coach this. What if the goal, most people set goals to protect themselves from future hurt. It's a way of predicting and controlling the future. So I want you to consider most goals are set to predict, control, and protect ourselves from hurt. So there's been a prior hurt, and if I set a goal, I won't have that hurt again. They'll never hurt me like that again. It's mostly unconscious. But if we keep living life, setting goals to protect ourselves and predict and control, we're totally ignoring how to attain our wholeness. And here's getting to the punchline. Wholeness is never attained through getting more things or getting more characteristics or getting better qualities. Please hear that. You don't become a better version of yourself to get wholeness. You don't level up. None of this NLP stuff. It's none, and I'm an NLP trainer. It's none of that. Wholeness is in removing the layers we were given that are not ours to keep. Wholeness is the removal of the layers that were given to us, our conditioning, that are never ours to keep. That is where the coaching begins. Who loves that? How you going with this, Lynn? A bit different to what you've been. Is it loving it?
I'm going to need some time alone with myself after this. It's like light bulb after light bulb, and also answering so many things, even just for me personally. I'm going to need time.
I love that for you. It's wonderful. I'm so, so glad. Thank you for that beautiful reflection. So it's really worth, if you're going to go through the recording or if there's a transcript, what I just said, that it is not about the attainment of what we want or being a better version of ourselves or leveling up or any of that. It's about removing the layers, the rubble that was never ours. And by releasing, unburdening those layers, we reveal the truth of our wholeness. So wholeness is not a goal attained by getting a better version of us. You know, if I can just learn to do this better, then I'll be whole. No, wholeness is already there. We're simply removing the lies that tell us we're not, revealing our wholeness. That is the conversation we're having. Hey, Cynthia, come on down, my darling.
I want to ask if during the process, for us to reach for us to build rapport with the client, they need to be able to achieve goals that they set for the sessions first.
Sure.
How
if you
can
say
we
so.
reach a point? How can we reach a point that they don't lose trust in the process, if they feel that they're not reaching the goal that they want or they're not feeling fulfilled? So because sometimes they feel I'm not feeling fulfilled or a sense of achievement, then the process, the coaching process is the thing that's going wrong. So how we keep that trust there in order for us to reach a point where we can coach them the way you're telling us to.
Okay, so Cynthia, if you can stay off mute, I'd be grateful, because I really want to feel a connection with you right now. Is it okay if I reflect back something that maybe it might seem like I'm not answering your question? I am, but maybe in not a way that you would predict. Is there space for that right now?
Okay.
Yes, I want a clear
Yeah.
yes on this. Yeah,
Yes,
not
yes.
it's a clear yes or no. Great.
Yes.
Here's the thing. I've never, ever in 21 years had a client lose trust in me, ever. But I haven't coached a client to only goals in over 15 years. So our philosophy and how we approach coaching is so different that what I'm sensing, and I absolutely could be wrong and I welcome it, I have no attachment to being right, is you're bringing what you've been taught and trying to apply it to this. And the two possibly are not going to love each other as much as we would want them to. I think they're going to have a relationship a bit like me with IT. It's going to be a challenge to get the pieces to fit. So maybe, I don't know if this is something that's available to you, but there could be an invitation to consider coming to this class as if you don't know what you've been taught and only experiencing this as if this is all you're ever going to hear. Rather than trying to get the two and because I can't help you with what you've learned because I don't know what you've learned, and I am not going to attempt to be arrogant enough to suggest that I can help you get the two to talk to each other. You're asking two software systems to work together that are not designed to be together, and that's beyond my capacity.
No.
How's that landing for you, darling?
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes, and the thing is, I'm still new at this, so I've been
Sure.
just working for like 2-3 years. So at the beginning, usually we work by the book, and then you start finding your way or your line of work, and then we will be able to like experiment and stuff like that. So that's why I'm working by the book. But I get what you're saying.
Sure. Dawn, let me know if I'm going too far here, my darling. I can't see on the screen, but please give me the guardrails if there are.
It's absolutely fine, and it touches on
All
what
right.
we said earlier about having some courage and being
Yeah.
courageous to explore and evolve the coaching practices. I
Right.
know Rashid wants to chip in.
Hey,
Yeah.
I can
Hey, Rashid,
share
how
it.
are you, my darling?
Hey, good, Remi. I can add a thought here because I've studied with Remi for the last 10 years now. I actually trained from the Coaching Institute. So a lot of what Remi's been sharing tonight is quite the ethos of the school. And I can share, I wanted to share just a very quick, brief client story that would really, hopefully in some way, make some more sense. Like Remi's answered it perfectly, that they're two different softwares. But what I found was doing this work is that when we work with a client, what they're looking for is what they think, what they want. That's what they think when they come to you. So, for example, I worked with this really wonderful man in his mid-40s.
We've got 2
kids.
minutes left, Rashid, for the class.
Okay, yeah. So I'll be very quick. So mid-40s, anyway, wanted to grow his business to $10 million, construction company, and I did the work that Remi is sharing. A year later, his business was not 10 million. It was 4 million a year still. When we started, it was still 4 million. But he said to me, this has been the greatest year I've ever had in my life because I got to know me, and I don't want the $10 million business anymore. I want to spend time with my daughters. So because he felt into the love that was shut down in his masculine energy because of how he was raised in the rubbles of his past conditioning. So that's another way to think about it, that people's goals are just, like you said, they're just a way of them wanting to have an internal experience. And when they get the experience, they don't want the goal anymore suddenly.
Yeah.
So hopefully that
Thank you,
helps.
Rashid. I appreciate that. And everything you're bringing, Cynthia, is important. So please keep bringing it, even though it may feel challenging in terms of how I answer you. Please keep coming. Please, I beg you to keep coming. So I'm not going to get through all the slides. I'm going to stop there and know that there's lots more to still unfold, and I will prepare less slides next time. Dawn, is there anything more I can do in terms of finishing? Is there anything anybody else would like to say? I'm here to serve. Any thoughts or comments?
No, I would just say let's use this last minute while we've got Remi in the hot seat before the next one, I think in about 2 weeks' time. Any last questions? I also feel we could have all day or at least an hour on every slide, but you know, we've got 4 sessions in total with Remi.
Yeah.
And
I think I'm on next Tuesday, Dawn. Is that right? Tuesday the 18th? Yeah,
Yes,
next
next Tuesday.
Hey, Caroline, my darling, it's
Hi.
such a pleasure to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I could listen to you for hours.
Oh,
I
wow,
wish
thank
we had
you.
more time. Yeah, I'm a spiritual life coach and a somatic practitioner, but I still feel like I'm only touching the tip of the iceberg with what's possible. And still working on myself a lot, which I will always be doing. My question is all this conditioning that we have, is still filtering down to younger generations. I feel, you know, that conditioning is still there in schools, especially in the UK. I don't know elsewhere, but it's all about goals, goals, goals. Yeah. How do we even start to touch on that? Because we're always going to be trying to heal if we've got this type of
So
conditioning.
thank you. I appreciate that reflection. Notice how you felt about this class, in the way you
Yeah.
expressed it. You articulated was, I could listen to you all day. Together, we will create a culture where people want to be like this all day.
Mm.
So I
Yeah,
have
love
this
that.
response from people everywhere I go. And then you're going to get the philosophy, and everybody else in this class hopefully will pick up the philosophy. And then everyone else in your space will say the same thing. I could listen to you all day. And that's how we slowly create the ripples of love in the world. One person at a time. You know, if I can give you the bug of love, that's in you. And I'll show you over the classes how to create a space where love is inevitable. And that's how you will coach, and that's how we transform.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. It
So
makes
remember, we're
sense.
not here to change the world, we're here to transform ourselves. And
Yes,
the only
and
thing we can transform,
I think I'm chasing change in the world.
no, we're
And
only
it
here to
can't do it.
transform ourselves into the love that we already are. That's it. That's all we can do. That's all we're
Yeah.
asked to do.
Yeah.
Floss, my darling, it's so lovely to have you here. Come on down.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Caroline.
Thank you.
I just wanted to respond to Caroline, actually, if that's okay, because so I've done a therapeutic coaching course. I was a trained life coach at the beginning, and then did a therapeutic coaching course, and I've been trying to combine the two ever since. And I absolutely love, Remi, what you've said, because I feel like I've been alone in my mission to combine the two, and I feel like I've actually kept quite away from the IAPC&M because I haven't really fitted in the mold. So I love this, and I love that I'm back and I'm hearing this. And what I wanted to say to Caroline is that since doing my therapeutic coaching, which is all about being present and hearing and helping to with the wholeness of the clients, I have completely changed, and so my relationship, I've got two teenagers, with them has completely changed. And I see my daughter with her friends, their relationship, she is so different. And so her relationship is completely changed. So it spreads. So if you just concentrate on you and who you reach, and then then the ripple effect is really quick. So you can concentrate on changing the world by concentrating on changing you, or listening and being you.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Floss. Thank you. And it is what I try to do, but I think my mind just races forward. I just want to heal everybody, and I know that's not possible.
I so want to coach that, Dawn, and I'm going to resist. I hope you're on the next class, because I would love to play with that moment that you just shared. That's
yeah, I'd like that. I'll be on the next class just for that.
all right. So what you said was, I just want to rush to heal as many people as I can. So if we leave it there, that will answer the question, how do you coach this? Because if you're open to it, and you might not be, that would absolutely be somewhere we would launch in. We'd be able to demonstrate everything I've been sharing philosophically. It's perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be open for that.
So Mara, that would be a demonstration. So Dawn, thank you for having me. Eleanor, thank you for the guidance.
Remi, it has been a tremendous pleasure to have you here. And it's only just the beginning, isn't it? It's been an incredibly insightful session. I can certainly feel my heart racing at the moment with excitement. And even though I won't be coaching next Tuesday's session, I will be here because we all are keen to listen to more of what you have to say. So thank you very much for dedicating some time. And
of course,
we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
Wonderful, my pleasure. And thank you everybody for showing up and being so open to this philosophy and your curiosity. I'm grateful to all of you. I look forward to the series unfolding.
Have a great rest of the day, everyone. See you next Tuesday.